started working on Wotch probably 3 or 4 months ago, and the initial idea of what I came up with at first changed dramatically from what we've now got as the final product, and I think that's a lot to do with we started the project off with not really much to go on, just some research, and as I was starting to research I looked at things like the Silence of the Lambs, where it kind of preys on what you feel like, what were fears at that sort of time, what humans are vulnerable to, and I think that's really where Wotch was coming from when I was making it. I wanted something which I personally had fears that I could feed into it, and therefore as a basis of a thriller there was a lot more to go to it. At first, when I didn't really know what I was going to do, everyone else was just doing lots and lots of research, and I kind of was coming up with these ideas of this couple together, and that something happened which separated them, and then I felt that was more. I was more focusing on what was exciting me at the time, and that wasn't the research at that time. I wanted to feed the research into my ideas, so I came up with this idea that this enigma, which I found from looking at codes and conventions of thrillers, this enigma code, which I then brought in to be a Wotch, would be the cause of this trouble, and it would leave the viewer thinking, like, what's going on, and it was all to make a exciting opening to a film. And people have been asking me, like, what's your film about, and it's not really about anything, it's about time, and that's all I can say really, because I wanted to create something, instead of telling a narrative through the beginning. I didn't want to do that because it closes the story off right at the beginning, but instead I wanted to open up excitement for the viewer. I wanted them to think, what's going on? I want the audience to think, I don't know why this has happened. Instead of being told what has happened, I want them to be wondering why, and therefore want to watch on to the film which would be made had that been the task.
I was really excited when I got asked to help out with it, and I liked the idea of being like a strong female lead.
The thing I noticed while I was doing my research was that apparently lots of thriller films have a strong male lead, and I hadn't realised that before, but I suppose it's true, and I felt it was necessary to bring in a stronger female lead, because then that would challenge people's different perceptions of it, and I don't think people like to be challenged too much, but I think stepping slightly out and slightly stretching people's comfort zone definitely broadens people, and I think makes things more exciting. It's not all a cliche.
I definitely think that having a strong female lead in a thriller movie, or in movies in general, does open up opportunities for women to actually be equal to men, because in a lot of ways they're a lot better. I think it's good. What?
I started off with the storyboard fairly early on, and that's definitely changed a lot from now. It's changed. The storyboard's a basis of what was to come, but it's really different. The storyboard started to act as a guideline for the production instead of being the set rules. I came up with my first ideas and put them down on the paper, but then when I came up with other things I wanted to add, it all just got jumbled round, and to be honest I never came up with any set, perfect idea of what it was going to look like until I was editing it and thought, that looks good. And until very recently I was going to have the Recifilm globe dissolve into the Wotch, and I thought that would look cool, but then in reality, when you're seeing the film passing by, it slowed it down immensely just to have this picture of the watch there, and it didn't work. So I took that out, and I went for some things which would work just a lot more free. Another example is when I was storyboarding, or even discussing my shoot beforehand, I wasn't keeping close to it, because when I started to edit, I got these extra shots that I decided to take of Rachel in the shower, and then I did sorts of fading effects and layered them on top of each other to have this massive energy, as if it were something. I wanted her to feel nostalgic and happy, and have this juxtaposing these sounds of the rain and the thunder, which were hopefully showing to the reader that something bad's going on.